So hello, this is Heron again, and I had an idea when I finished the furnace and looked through the pile of junk that I call my workshop, and I found this carbide inserts that I got at a flea market. I think it was $1 each or something. You often get nice stuff there. And but I don't really know anything about them, and I wanted to try them. And I was thinking about doing the old kind of full-on compound angel setup and so on. No, I don't want to do that. So what I will try is find some small box, put them in, turn around so that the top is on the bottom. Cast some plaster of Paris in there, wait until it sets, and then I will shape that whole thing so I have a pattern, and then just do a one-sided casting where I put that carbide in and cast the bronze around it, and then clean it up on the belt sander. We'll see if that could be option for custom-made carbide holders. So I will try that out, and I'll look for a box and get some plaster and things like that and try that. So I will be right back. So I found some box with a tap in there, and I made some casting with some plaster of Paris with one of those inserts in here, if you can see. And now I will shape that to get a pattern for sand casting, for one-sided sand casting. And then we will see whether it is a viable option to cast your own tools for inserts. Oh, I see it is kind of shifted a little bit. But for a test piece I have to live with that. I mean, I can do it again and just use some whatever hot glue or so to fix the insert in place. Well, I think I will just continue with that. It's not too bad. Little asymmetric, as you can see. Tip goes a little bit to the right at the top. So I will shape that now and let it dry and put some paint on it, and then I can try casting that. So I'm now shaping this just with a knife. It's a good idea to get it to a rough shape while it's still wet. I mean, it has to be set, but when it's wet it is easy to scrape with a knife. It doesn't turn into dust, and it's much easier to work with. So I will give it a rough shape, and then I will let it dry out completely and then sand it to a final shape. And then I will give it some coating, and we'll try a sand casting of that. So we'll have one of those inserts in the form. I'll keep it there, and after extracting that, or in the pattern, and after extracting that pattern, I will put another insert in that place and fix it with some kind of steel pin and put some clay in the hole from the other side, and then just cast bronze over it. Well, quite curious that could work. Well, if that works, you have a nice register for the insert, and often you stumble upon some inserts, but you cannot really use them, or you have to cut them and use them for brazed carbide or something like that. And hopefully with this method I can just use them. So continue to do that and let's see. Well, I was tinkering around a little bit, and it's Friday now, and I had to do a lot of other things, but this is now dried. I mean, yeah, it's set before, but plastic repairs, you also want it to be dry. And I have to replace that broken out tip and then make a mold, and I'll also try to cover this in a layer of graphite, I think with a pencil or something, to increase my chance to be able to remove that from the casting. So, I mean, carbide can be brazed, so I want to put some kind of separation in there. So I now used a pencil to cover this thing in a thin layer of carbide, just to make sure that I can, or to give me a higher chance to extract it from the casting. I mean, yeah, as I said, carbide can be brazed, and I don't want it to stick. So I'm waiting for the bronze to melt, and wanted to show you some of the projects that I've worked on for the last years or whatever and not finished. Or this is a double acting Stirling engine, 2 displacer pistons and a diaphragm working piston with a beam and flywheel. And this setup, I wanted to integrate a 10 to 20 watt electric output Stirling engine to a barbecue grill, so that you can charge your phone or have some music or light or whatever powered by this. I will include a battery so that it stores all the energy from 1.5 hour of running, and then you can have a party outdoors if you not push the volume too high for basically for the night, so in the summer or whatever. So this is a proof of concept. This was running, but I pushed it a little too high, and the brazing popped. I mean, here was some fire bricks and then some barbecue grill, basically, with some charcoal. So this will be one of the projects that I wanted to finish, or basically this is a proof of concept for an upcoming project. I will not work on this anymore. This is just was a proof of concept, and I'm pretty sure that I can get it up to minimal 10 watts electric output. That should be no problem. So that's one of the projects. Let's get to the next one. So this is the next project. This is fantasy weapon. A little bit Elder Scrolls, Skyrim, Elven inspired, whatever. This is not finished. I finished the pommel and the blade, and this is bent rattan, and I have to make some kind of sleeve around here, and make the handle and a guard. And I wanted to make do some etching on the blade, some flower plant-like ornaments or whatever, and on the pommel. So that's one of the projects. And yeah, let's go to the next one. So this is the next one. This is 3D printed polycarbonate, quite rigid, the most rigid material they had back then. It's a few years old and I didn't finish it. Professional print. This is for a mushroom shaped Kohanda effect drone I wanted to try out. And I have a motor and some batteries and RC stuff. So this is probably the project that is most likely to fail, but I will try it anyway. I have to basically, this is not complete. In the finished version, there has to be a ring of small wings or yeah, basically wings that steer or compensate for the rotation, and then two-dimensional hinge and a stem basically for this mushroom that can be where you can shift the center of mass to fly this thing. But yeah, anyway, I will try that first without the rotational compensation. Just put it on a stick, put some weight or put a foot that is heavy enough so it doesn't fly away on the stick, and put it on a scale and just see how much lift this can produce. So that would be the first step, and if that is successful, I can try to find out how to make the rest. So this is a weird project, but maybe it's interesting. So we will see if this turns out as a working thing or just a failure. But even then, it will be interesting to try. So these are basically the three projects. I have some other small stuff, but this is basically it. So what do you think? Which project should I try to finish first? Really like to know. So let's wait for the bronze, and then we'll do the test cast around the carbide insert, and we will see whether it is a viable option for random carbides to cast the tool around. Okay, the bronze is molten now. So let's do the experiment with the carbide. A little too much bronze, but anyway, better than not enough. I hope that the graphite coat will prevent that thing from basically grazing to this part. If it doesn't work, I have to try some other coats to be able to extract the carbide out of the cast. So we will see how this turns out. So I finished the casting and it's cool now, and as you can see, it's at least the experiment was successful. You can extract that thing, there's an imprint, there's some sand falling in from the sides, and this is not perfect, but it was a test anyway. So if you prepare it a little better and take a little more care when you make the mold. That should work fine. Also the design of that tool holder is just crude. It's just like a high-speed tool or whatever, and you can make it a little more rigid at the top, at the tip, but just going straight down. I mean, you have the relief of the carbide. So yes, you can make your custom tool holders for flea market find carbides. Of course I have to drill a hole and tap it and get some fitting screw, but other than that should work fine. I mean, it's not wiggling or whatever. It's solidified around that carbide, so it's a perfect seat. And yeah, I think I will use that in the next video for some machining or so. So what do you think about this, and what do you think about the 3 projects? What is the most interesting one to you, and which one should I start first with, or with which one should I continue first? I mean, they're all kind of halfway through, but yeah. Well, that's basically it. It was Huron, and thanks for watching. Thanks for the interest. I hope it was interesting and may help you in certain situations where you need a carbide holder for some flea market finds. And yeah, of course you need a furnace, but I've shown you how, and if you can wire a VFD, you should be able to build that furnace. It's not that hard. It's all just throwing some components together. You don't even have to solder. You just buy the circuit boards and do some forming with the coil, and yeah. So no excuse about that. You can do it. And yeah. So that's it for me, and I'll see you next time.